All right, let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. Let's talk. Ty Butler, we in the house. At Ty D Butler, where you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. We are reacting to Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Hit me up in the chat. You know how I like to do. Make this a two-way conversation between you and me. At Ty D Butler. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit us up in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. On Twitter, at Ty D Butler, Instagram. Listen, the streets are saying that the vibes got disrupted tonight because the Knicks somehow went from winning 13 straight games, and in the midst of that, there were legitimate conversations being had in A blocks of TV segments. Is this the greatest team of all time? To all of a sudden playing their worst game in 2 months. I can't quite figure out what changed. Maybe people who were there in the arena can attest to that. But something happened tonight, and what really disappointed me was how the Knicks started both halves. They came out the gate disheveled, disoriented, lethargic, and it was so uncharacteristic because this would be a prime spot for a team up 2-0 to take their foot off the gas pedal and let the team that's losing in the series come back. But the Knicks had shown us that's not in their DNA. They operate with urgency, and we saw it was Malika Andrews before the game interviewing Josh Hart about the whole 0-0 mantra, despite the fact that they're up in the series. And it is something that has permeated the entire locker room, which I love, because you don't hear guys talking about championship. You don't hear guys looking forward prematurely. They are locked in on the moment, what's in front of them. And so it was just jarring to me to watch how they came out in this game with the turnovers. And by the way, were able to recover from it, had a 7-point lead at halftime. And your boy Charles Barkley was like, yeah, this series is over. And then they just got pummeled in that second half. Now, the late threes by Jalen and by OG made the score a lot closer than it really was. But I thought the Spurs in that second half thoroughly outplayed them. And look, some of this is going to be criticism of the Knicks because we had seen them play at such a high level. Our expectation is now exorbitant and through the roof. But you do got to tip your cap to the Spurs, man. Like, everyone talked about how difficult it was going to be for this young San Antonio team throughout the playoffs. And they have shown you time and time again, they battle back from adversity. They went into OKC in game 1 and won a double overtime game. They went into OKC in game 7 and won that game to advance to this series. And now Madison Square Garden, it's the biggest game in 27 years. It's stars galore. Everyone popped out, including the president. And the Spurs did not look overmatched. There were times in the game where you're wondering what the hell is going on. But they appear to be poised. And the fact, you know what the biggest shock to me is in this game? Stephon Castle hitting both those free throws, nothing but net, in a game where the Spurs struggled from the line all night long. They were 25 of 32. And it looks and feels better than that because Wemby in that fourth quarter from the charity stripe was awesome. But Castle pulling up, dog, a second-year player in that arena. It's a 2-point game. You're thinking we're going to win this one. What were they up? 7 with 40 seconds left? And then they come, the Knicks come back. And so you go from believing, all right, we've extended the series. It's 2-1 to, oh, man, I've got to nail both of these free throws. It's a 2-point game. And nothing but net for Stephon Castle. So an incredible game for him. All three. He came out balling tonight. He finished with 23 points. His defense was excellent. Wemby Took a lot of heat, and rightfully so. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. But he responded tonight, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 block shots, had a big one late in that fourth quarter. And the Spurs star showed up. Conversely, here's the deal, y'all. And shout out to my pops. Spurs just silenced the entire city. Let's go. Spurs still down 2-1 in the series, so don't go too nuts. But you live to see another day. And I do wonder, are we yet in the territory of, because this is going to be, I'm going to put y'all on real quick because I know how this business works. I guarantee you we are going to see at least one TV show, whether it be tomorrow or Wednesday, do this segment. Does the winner of game 4 win the series? Because if the Knicks go up 3-1, Spurs aren't coming back. The Spurs somehow go from dead in the water to 2-2 back home for game 5, it's getting a little dicey. You're going to see at least one TV show or a podcast or whoever do that segment either tomorrow or Wednesday. By the way, programming note, at about midnight, I will be on ESPN New York radio going till 1 a.m. Got to make sure I send the tweet out. Yeah, we did. I'm going to 1 a.m. on the radio. So ESPN New York, if you are in New York, that is 880. That is also 101.1 HD2. If you are not, download the ESPN New York app. We are going to 1 a.m. I want to take your phone calls. I want to talk to the Knicks fans out there. If there's any Spurs fans who want to pull up, that was a sensational game, so I want to holler at y'all. I was going to say something. Oh, okay, yeah. So the Stars showed up tonight for the Spurs. Wemby was incredible. Got to have a conversation about your man, Jalen Brunson, who we know is awesome. We know he is that dude, and in crunch time, had some big moments. But that sometimes will, because of how great he's been in crunch time and the Knicks being up 2-1 in this series, it does take your attention away from the fact that hasn't been great in the series. He's got 82 points on 81 shots. And look, some of that is you give the Spurs credit because as advertised, they do have the wings to make life difficult for Brunson. And when they're tracking that man 90 feet up the floor, making it difficult for him, it is going to wear him down, which is why the Knicks will, and I'm sure Mike Brown's going to make this adjustment, have other guys do some shot creation and playmaking because you need Jalen to not look as gassed and as worn down as he has looked in the first 3 games. Now, to your credit, if you're the Knicks, you're still up 2-1. You're still in the driver's seat with a home game in game 4. And so you're not panicking. But there are a bunch of Knicks fans who have been waiting for this day their entire lives, showed up to MSG, were at these watch parties, expecting them to BTA, just just put them out. Put them out. That's what they were expecting. And they did not get that tonight. And to that, I say this. Y'all might have gone a little too crazy disrespecting the 62-win San Antonio Spurs. I'm not saying that the Knicks won't win this series. I did pick the Spurs in 7. But this is less about whether or not the Knicks will win the series and more about the Knicks in 4 chance. I get it. Y'all excited. Y'all hyped. I'm not going to knock y'all for it. The San Antonio Spurs this year did win 62 games. And to some of y'all, didn't matter. That is an excellent basketball team, coached by one of the best in the NBA. And just, what was it? A week ago, we were calling Wemby the best player in the league. So the best player in the league on a 62-win team with an excellent head coach and young studs around him. Y'all expected them to just roll over? Nah, man. Look, San Antonio might lose game 4 and this series could get wrapped up in 5. So all of this could just be, delaying the inevitable. But all I'm saying is what we have seen through the first 3 games in this series. I know the Knicks won by 10 in game 1. That was not indicative of how that game was played. San Antonio led by 14, and it was close with 2 minutes left to go. And then Jalen went nuts. Game 2, Wemby's got a shot to win it. Tonight, they win the game. These are 2 evenly matched teams. This is a competitive series. Let's go to your comments. My man V pops in the chat. He's like, why was Clarkson in the game? Clarkson's in the game because the Knicks needed some offense. Mikal Bridges had picked up a couple of fouls, and Brunson didn't have it going early. And so when McBride comes in, and McBride has just not really done much in the series, Mike Brown goes to Jordan Clarkson, and Clarkson actually played well in this game. Clarkson had 10 points in 13 minutes. So I would not, on my list of reasons as to why the Knicks lost this game, point to Jordan Clarkson. But I do appreciate you, V. Shout out Woodbine, you heard? Dylan chimes in from YouTube. He says, Game 4 probably decides the series. Any thoughts on the Wemby play where he threw Brunson to the ground? Yo, they're allowing Wemby to get away with nonsense. He's got to chill out with that. Because the problem, too, is like this series is so tight. A play like that can flip the game, man. We almost saw it. If Keldon Johnson doesn't, who has been awful, he had a big basket in this game, but he's been awful. Keldon Johnson pushes Mitchell Robinson into Wemby in what looked like what was going to be a 4-point play that gave San Antonio an 11-point lead. That gets overturned, right? Plays like that can flip momentum pretty quickly. So what happens on the other end? Brunson goes down, scores a layup. It's now a 5-point game, and now the Knicks are back in it. When a series is this tight, man, you got to win within the margins. And so Wemby plays with like a mean streak, right? Like he needs that. It's MJ, Kobe-esque. Like he needs to be angry because that's how he feels he gets the best out of himself. But you do have to toe that line because a flagrant foul in a series that is this competitive can just flip it. And Wemby's got to find a way to marry those two things. Like I can be aggressive, I can be tough, but I also can't put my team in harm's way by doing just silly stuff. 62 wins, respect. Yeah, San Antonio, listen, they have all playoffs long battle back from adversity. We saw them lose game 1 against Minnesota at home, win game 2, then win that series in 6. We saw them go on the road in OKC, hostile environment against the defending champs, and that was when they were fully healthy, the Thunder were. And they won that game in double OT. Then they win game 7, and now they win game 3. So the road teams in the finals are now 3-0, which is pretty interesting. Yo, Knicks fans gotta be upset. It's so funny how sensitive these folks get on social media because we get called the snowflakes and all. Listen, all I said was I think that a New York Knicks fan base that has been starving for this moment for decades should get an opportunity to celebrate and hang outside the Garden with the little watch party. They should not be subjected to a 2-hour wait in line. There should be no disruption of this momentum. Why would you change anything when it's all been going perfectly for you since game 3 of the Hawks series in round 1? And we don't even got to get into a whole political debate. I'm not trying to do that tonight. It's whatever. But I will tell you, it is going to be a funny coincidence, correlation, causation, whatever you want the word to be, that they go from playing their best basketball of the season, 13 straight wins, 2 shy of the NBA playoff record. And then tonight, they play their worst game in 2 months. And look, shout out to the Knicks fans who showed up. They were loud and all that. I kind of think that juice might have hurt them tonight because you see how they started the game. They just did not look the same. They looked tight. They looked lethargic. It appeared like they were out of sorts. And how many turnovers did they end up in this game tonight? Because there were a bunch. 13 turnovers for the Knicks tonight. Uncharacteristically sloppy. So you get 18 assists, 13 turnovers. That's just not a Knick ratio. And then they give up the 21 points off the turnovers. And so I thought that to me was jarring. Also, once they take the 7-point lead into halftime, this was blood in the water. And I tweeted this at Ty D Butler. I want to go back to the tweet because I got a couple that we got to bring up here. I said, all right, so I said, these Knicks are so deep, loaded, and resilient. They are going to demoralize you. And what I meant by that was, every time you feel like you throw your best punch, you ever been in a fight and it's like, I'm throwing my best punch and this dude is not falling? That's the Knicks. Every time you feel like you got him, it's KO mode, they come back. And they've got all these dudes who they cut that just come off the bench and hit big shots. Alvarado was good tonight. Clarkson was good tonight. Shamit didn't do what he normally does. But they got certified bucket getters. We got to give a shout out to Josh Hart because teams' game plans are going to be leave him open. If he hit threes, we're not beating them. And he actually hit 4 threes in a loss, and that's what's concerning for the Knicks. OG had 28 points. Josh Hart hit 4 threes. Brunson, not on efficient shooting, had 32 points. And yet they still lost. I was trying to figure out, because Karl-Anthony Towns I thought was the best player in the series so far. Why the hell was he not involved early? It felt like the Knicks just went away from everything that had been working for them on offense just to get Brunson going. And I didn't love it. I understand it to some degree because it's like, all right, we're at home. He is one of the best first quarter scorers, has been all season long. Let's try to draw some plays up to get him some buckets. But it took them out of the flow of their offense, and especially when Mikal Bridges picks up the 2 fouls, they just didn't appear to be the same team. Their identity was the identity of their offense that's completely changed. But they kept coming. And that's why I was like, this young Spurs team, it's the second youngest team ever in the finals, only to the 77 Blazers. Playing for their season in the second half, on the road, down 7, that crowd's going nuts, and it's celebrity after celebrity after celebrity. They're smelling blood. The Knicks are, and their fans are. I said, good luck to San Antonio. Especially because of how once they get a lead, it's like they kind of lose themselves. They can't sustain leads. They're up 12, but you're watching, it's like, you should really be up 20. They're up 14, it's like, you should really be up 25. And in this game, what was their largest lead? Was it 11? Oh, it was 12 again. And you felt like, man, I don't love the spot that you're in because you're playing so well. You're too much is going right for you, and yet the Knicks are still in it. But give credit to San Antonio. They are not going to roll over in this series. And now all of a sudden it sets up a fascinating game 4 because Knicks fans coming into today thought game 4 was coronation. Like, we'll beat them tonight, and then the Spurs will roll over and die in game 4. They'll get swept. But now game 4 takes on a different kind of feel because it's like all of that hard work you put in to go up 2-0 gets completely eradicated if you lose this game. And now it's a best of 3, 2 of the games in San Antonio. And I get that you won on the road in the series. I understand that. But you still would rather play more home games than road games. Right? So now the Wednesday night was supposed to be, all right, let's win the championship. We'll have the parade on Friday. We've got the World Cup commencement on Thursday. We got the Puerto Rican Day parade on Sunday. It's going to be lit out here in New York City. And all of a sudden it's like, hold up now. Hold up. We might have ourselves a series. Shout out to Wemby. Shout out to Wemby. He took it. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. To whom much is given, much is required. When we are going to anoint you as the best player in basketball, and you show up, he scored 22 points in the second half of game 2. But that terrible shot against Mitchell Robinson without about 40 seconds left to go in the game, and then he has the bad turnover, and then he has the shot to win the game, and he misses. When you go 0 for 3 in that spot, you're going to get crushed. That's what happens to the best players in basketball. LeBron went through it. Remember, Magic Johnson won a championship, and then, 4 years later, got the nickname Tragic Johnson. We saw it. Great players go through that. Kobe got killed. It's nothing new. When you are an elite player, and then we don't even have to go to the legends. Jokic, these guys, Durant, Steph, when you don't deliver in big time moments, you are going to have the masses coming for you, especially when folks might feel like we've prematurely anointed you as the best player in the world. But all that to say, credit to Wemby tonight. As good, I was gonna say, as good of a game as he played in game 1 against Oklahoma City, this might have been the best game he's played. I don't know if I can go there, because what did he have? 41 and 24? Was that the stat line for Wemby in game 1 against OKC? 41, 24, and then 3 blocks in the game ceiling block. So maybe this was the second best game. I don't know, man. Because considering the stakes, you might be able to argue this was the best playoff game he's ever played. Like the stakes of, we're down 2-0, we lose this game, our series is over, and I'm coming off of not an awful performance, but an awful final minute. And to go into MSG with that building rocking the way that it was, this might be, it's close, man. It's close. The most impressive game of his young career. And now he has his team on the doorstep of tying this series. Stephon Castle, again, man, I can't say enough about that cat hitting those 2 free throws. I was sure they were not going in. Luke Cornett, I'm about sick of him. Ever since he had the Magic City promo he killed for Atlanta with his dissertation, he's just been a non-player. Dylan Harper played, I thought, okay tonight. It had a couple of boneheaded decisions. The Spurs late in games, they did this in game 7 against Oklahoma City. They just get anxiety riddled. And look, they're a young team, so you expect it to happen. And also, I can't go this whole stream without mentioning De'Aaron Fox, who's not efficient tonight. He's 0 for 5 from 3, 4-14 from the field overall, 2 turnovers, but the biggest shot of the game he hits. That put at that mid-range shot in the paint. And so shout out to him. V says, you know what? I think the phone call was made. Can't have the most popular finals of this decade ending for. What phone call, man? So what's the phone? So he's saying that the officials were on the side of San Antonio. The problem with that is the Knicks had 13 turnovers, and their best player was 11 for 25. And so if you're going to sell me on the officials were the reason why the Knicks lost this game, then you have to explain to me how the officials were responsible for Bridges scoring 2 points tonight, how the officials were responsible for Cat having 11 points tonight, and the officials were also responsible for what Wemby was able to do, all the dunks and stuff. So I don't know, man. I can't blame the officials tonight. BX_Mel, shout out, bro. What's going on? Cat was quiet, and that's the thing that befuddled me. I gotta hop on the radio here, so we're about to dip. But it was befuddling to me how and I hate when teams do this, how you could have something so clearly work for you and then you go away from it. And this feels like a recycled topic if you're a Knicks fan. Karl Anthony Towns with 10 shot attempts. Now, he didn't really have it going, but it's hard to get it going when in 38 minutes you get 10 shot attempts. Now, some of that is like he got fouled, so it doesn't register as a shot attempt. But I don't know. I gotta see. Cat more involved. Now, credit to the Spurs. They made some adjustments. They put Keldon Johnson on him, and they're guarding him with the smaller guys, similar to what other teams have done. They take Wimby off of him because he's just blown by Wimby, and now Wimby is able to do the roam runner thing. He play free safety, and it works. So San Antonio, that's obviously a season-saving win, but 48 hours from now, or I should say 44 hours from now, you've got another win or game to play to try to save your season because you go down 3-1, this thing's over, and the Knicks are just going to party in game 6, even if you win game 5. Yo, shout out to y'all. I see Chris is very confident in the Spurs. We got a bunch of people in here. Shout out to you guys for hopping in here. I gotta go on the radio. So ESPN New York app, ESPN Radio. I'll be there. What else we got cooking? I'll be back on the radio on Wednesday night following game 4. We got ourselves a series. What do y'all think changed tonight? The vibes were going so well, and then it just got upended. So what's like the variable in this equation where things could be going one way and then, if a team is down 2-0 in a series, and we see this in NBA history, in order for them to come back, you need something like big to happen, like Draymond suspension, something like that. The Bucks Suns series was like the Drew Holiday turnover, or Drew Holiday steal, Booker turns it over, the Giannis dunk. You need something big. Is that something big? The president going into an NBA game? We shall see. I'm on the radio. Holla at me. Talk to y'all later.